Okay, this proved to be another big week in the Alex Murdaugh trial. Buster Murdaugh, Alex's surviving son, seen possibly flipping the bird to a key witness against his dad. I mean, this just gets crazier and crazier. And Murdaugh's sister was also caught trying to pass a note to Alex, a huge no-no in a courtroom, not supposed to do it. The family has been warned by the judge that they will be thrown out of the courthouse if this keeps up. Okay, let's talk about it. Let's bring in the criminal lawyers, trial attorney Sara Azari, lawyer Eric Bland, and high-profile trial attorney Mark Geragos. So thank you all for being here. I watch you guys all the time on CUOMO, so I'm excited to talk to you. And Eric, I'll start with you. I've actually talked with Eric outside the courthouse because I've been in South Carolina covering the trial. I mean, what do you make of this? Buster, allegedly putting the middle finger up? I mean, it just seems like it gets crazier and crazier.
Yes, thanks for having me on, Brian. What we're seeing is pressure is starting to break some pipes. The past 2 days, 3 days really, have been some pretty powerful testimony from some pretty powerful people. Alex has been really done in by people that are closest to him, whether that's Ronnie Crosby. Today it was Blanca Simpson, his former house worker. Yesterday it was his best friend Chris Wilson, his paralegal Annette Griswold. But I think the most powerful testimony actually was by my client Tony Satterfield yesterday. Senator Daniel Patrick Moynihan said you're entitled to your own opinions but not your own facts. And a lot of people popped off last week that Tony wasn't going to be a relevant witness because he supposedly didn't have any communications with Alex that preceded the murder. Well, unfortunately, facts are stubborn things, and there were text messages that were initiated by Alex Murdaugh a month and a half before the murders directly to Tony Satterfield where he said, "Hey, Bo, give me a call, want to talk to you about your case." The only problem, Brian, was Alex had stolen all the money, $3.45 million of the $4.3 million 2 years before, and he signed a dismissal of the case in October.
Yeah, and
it became very.
Sorry to interrupt you, but I want to get to
very relevant testimony.
You brought up Tony Satterfield. It was sad too to watch. I mean, just as a reporter, it's one of the sadder parts of the trial that I've seen. I want to play a clip since you brought it up, and we'll talk about it on the other side.
Did the defendant ever tell you that he also had a $5 million umbrella policy?
No.
Did he ever tell you that there had been a recovery against that?
No.
Did he ever tell you that there had been a recovery for $3.8 million against that?
No.
Did he ever pay you one penny of $3.8 million?
No.
All right, I want to bring in Sara now, because you've had an issue with this witness. Again, I've been watching you guys talk about this every night. I mean, it was powerful, though. Again, just as someone watching, I mean, I'm not a lawyer, but, it certainly made me think that Murdaugh is not such a good guy.
Yeah, look, to be clear, I don't have a problem with this witness at all. I think he is the only victim. He's the most sympathetic witness, and it's the most egregious theft by Murdaugh because it shows who he was stealing from and how he was stealing. Really, really bad and really good for the prosecution on the motive pressure side.
Okay.
The problem is, if you don't know that you're owed money and you're not demanding it, there's no demand, there's no pressure. And to the extent that Eric's saying there was this pre-murder communication which would go to motive, Satterfield made clear in his testimony that he was not aware that he was owed that money. And that is why this is probably the judge's worst ruling in this case.
But how
to
would
admit this testimony? Well, hold on. Let me please speak, Eric. Thank you. So when you're deciding whether evidence comes in from motive versus character, the event has to take place before the murders, not after. At the time that he had communications with Alex Murdaugh, he was not aware that this money was stolen, the settlement money had come in. So that doesn't go to motive. It's pure character evidence, and it was absolute error to admit this evidence. I feel terrible for Tony Satterfield. I feel that it's compelling testimony, but it's still inadmissible.
I feel like I want to take you and Eric out to a drink together.
Brian?
Yeah, you can. I feel like we all need
Brian.
to have a drink because you guys get at it every night, and then I see it on Twitter too. I'm like, I feel like we should all be friends.
Can I address that?
Sure,
please?
go for it.
It's not Tony's state of mind that matters, Sarah. It's Alex's state of mind. And Alex knew that that was a very precarious situation that he was going to be caught on because articles were being written about that case.
Eric. That wasn't the ruling.
Please, hey, Sarah, let me speak, okay?
Yeah.
You've sent some negative tweets about this judge in this case. This judge made a proper ruling. I know you want a very neat causation of what was the reason for murder, but sometimes the reasons aren't neat. They may have been perfect for Alex, but to us they seem imperfect reasons. But Alex felt that the walls were closing in on him. And the first thing he did was reach out to Tony Satterfield to tell him a lie so that he could be appeased because there were articles being written that Alex couldn't control.
Okay, I want to get to Mark because something else interesting happened today, Mark. We learned that the Murdaugh's maid testified that she actually cleaned the house the day after the murders and that she was apparently asked by Alec to clean the house and also clean some of his clothes. I mean, first of all, isn't that contaminating the crime scene? Second of all, like, how did the police let that happen, Mark?
Well, you know, if there's innocent explanations, the prosecution never goes there. I mean, the most innocent explanation is his wife and his son were brutally murdered. If you presume that he's innocent, he knows he's going to have people come pay their respects, is what happens in most households, and he asks that the house be cleaned up because that's the way his wife would have wanted it. Is that consistent with an innocent explanation? I would say so. By the way, I don't know that the prosecution, and I believe they're getting ready to rest, I don't know that anybody has suggested that the crime scene was in the house. If they had if Alex had asked to go down to the dog kennel or you go down to the scene where my wife and my son were murdered and clean that up, I'd say, wow, that's some powerful prosecution evidence. But once again, we're in this kind of Alice in Wonderland zone where it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where any of the evidence is. All we do is we throw stuff up. We say stuff like, oh, he was getting desperate, so therefore he lied to this person about his theft. But wait a second, we're not on trial for theft, we're on trial for murder. It doesn't matter because it goes to his state of mind and he was desperate. So he was desperate about a guy, and what he did is he went home and he killed his wife and his son. I mean, none of this makes sense, and you can always explain it away by saying, oh, it's not logical, it's not rational, it doesn't make any sense to us human beings, but somehow it makes sense to this other human being. I mean, it's really, at a certain point, it really has stretched any kind of reasonable imagination, and it's just people trying to fit facts which have nothing to do with anything into a situation or a narrative that literally doesn't explain anything.